A lot of times I had to separate myself from coach and be
Right.
dad
Yep.
with the knowledge of coach.
Yep.
And for me, nowadays, a lot of kids are playing on multiple teams or doing multiple things.
Is that a
totally
good thing?
fine, non-judgmental,
Okay.
right? But going back to the kids and being soft and the parents are now looking for something more, right?
Wait, the parents are looking for something more, meaning what? They're looking for structure and discipline and
Parents are looking for NIL deals.
Oh, I see.
Parents are looking for rankings. Parents are looking for so many things that holds the coach to a standard that is not fair to that coach, right? So a lot of times the parents are more hands-on and more on the coach than the kid.
because of the administration of that basketball situation.
The basketball
The
world
business
is,
of it all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're here with Nick Wallace, Arcadia Apache's high school basketball coach. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So 2021 Division 4A basketball runner-up.
Yes.
That was a big moment, yeah?
Huge history.
Were you nervous going into the game?
Looking back, I was very calm.
Are you normally very calm in high-pressure situations?
No. Get a little bit of anxiety before the game.
So what was it about that?
I think I was in the moment. We weren't supposed to be in a championship. All the cards were against us. One of our top players went down in the first round. We were down 9.
I was going to ask you that. How did you coach when your top players goes down? How do you coach through that? Everyone's looking. Everyone knows in the team what the dynamic is. How did you coach them through that?
At that moment, you can hear a pin drop in the gym. And it's almost like you can feel your heart beating, like all the eyes are on you.
Yeah.
The kids are looking at you. The administration's looking at
There's
you.
one person.
The crowd's looking at you.
Yeah.
And I walk over to Jacob and I say, talk to me. I said, I heard a pop, coach. And right then and there, I knew I had to be strong for him. Because the moment I turn around and go back to that huddle,
Yep.
all the guys are going to depend on me to say, what do we do?
And you also need him to understand that you can lead him, because that's a profoundly painful and scary moment to someone.
Yes. So I kneeled down, I whispered in his ear, and I said, you're going to get up, you're going to hold your head up, and you're not going to let them see you down.
Had you ever had a coach tell you that? Like, where did you learn that? That's an in-the-moment thing. That's where entire relationships, and I would argue some professional arcs are defined in those kinds of moments, in those moments.
Right.
All the pressure's on, the clock is literally and figuratively ticking, all eyes are on you, as you said. How did you come up with that? Are you normally that calm and contained under pressure? Are you normally that highly performing? Are you normally that good under pressure?
You know, it's trials and tribulations in life, right?
Yeah.
Sports kind of gives you that driving tool, but life and life experiences help you kind of shape who you are.
You grew up in Pasadena?
Yes, born and raised. For me, it was more so in that moment. I had already been experienced twice before in a coaching situation where in the summer, a young man went up for a layup and broke his tibia and his fibia.
Came down on it, just
came down.
Freak accident.
Nobody was around him. And before that, I was an assistant passing the poly where a young man had the same type of injury, and I remember that head coach at that moment.
You were on the JV team?
I was
JV
JV head coach,
yeah.
Correct, but also assistant on varsity.
Yep.
And I remember the coach saying he was calm, he put a towel over him, and he had to remain calm in order to let the guys know, like, hey, I'm still here.
So you're seeing these things over and over, you're learning, those are good models, you're able to exercise your style in those moments, your style of keeping calm, cool, and collected in those moments?
Yes.
So that happens. The entire team is looking to you for leadership. Where I would imagine a lot of them were thinking, we're done.
Yes.
Could you see it in their eyes when you walked back to the huddle?
You can look in their eyes and it's like, excuse my language, holy.
They were afraid.
Yes, because he was our top guy.
Yeah.
He was our muscle. And for him to go down, the way he went down, it was like, oh my God, and you're down 9, it's mid-third quarter.
How'd he go down?
He went up for a rebound, came down and just went straight to the ground.
Oh, that's terrible.
Terrible.
So you're watching that, your team is he okay now? Has he recovered?
He's better, he's back playing basketball.
Okay, great.
Still talk to him to this day.
Fantastic.
And he's pushing through.
Okay, great. So you're in that moment, you walk back to the huddle, all eyes are on you, you're down by 9, third quarter. What do you say to them in that moment to right the ship, or to keep them calm, or to keep them focused?
Let's go. We got something to play for now. We're not going to let your brother down. He's going to stay strong. You guys going to stay strong. Let's go.
Who steps into his position?
A young man named Tim Kwan. He was a sophomore at that moment.
Oh, my
and
God.
another young man named Colin O'Malley.
So by committee, you brought guys in.
Yes.
Was it a Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers coach, next man up situation, or was it not like that? Or was it I'm going to figure out how to cobble together what he could give us there through substitutions and
Through the journey, right, with the team and through the season, it was a shortened season already because of COVID, so it was very unique. Those guys had been getting up at 5:30 a.m. for 6 a.m. practices when we couldn't be in the gym, when no one was around. We didn't know if we were going to have a season. So in that moment, it was already a brotherhood within. And they knew the next person up still had to do their job.
How do you, when you look at that, so I'm a Steelers fan, I love Tomlin.
I'm a 49er fan.
That's the end of the interview, I apologize. When he talks about the next man up, it feels, at a glance, it could feel very commodified, right? Like, okay, if you can't do it, someone else will. And I understand I think that I understand the approach being that everybody has to be ready to go.
Yes.
But the other side of it, it feels very much like every person's a commodity, and if this one falls off the shelf and you put another one in, there's a lack of humanity or three-dimensionalization. Can you talk to people about that? Because it talked to me about that. Tell me if I'm seeing that right, or if that's the proper interpretation, or if there is a humanity in that I'm not seeing.
I think it's just preparation, right?
What do you mean?
No one man is bigger than the team, right? Not myself, not the players. Like I always tell my guys, and it's consistent, the game will still go on with or without you, or with or without me. So
does that make them feel worthless or less worthy, or does it make them feel like there's an opportunity here that I have to step into?
There's an opportunity here, and you have to be prepared for the moment because you never know when your opportunity is going to come.
So you have this sophomore who has this opportunity.
Correct, and he was ready to go.
He was
ready to go.
How did you know he would be ready to go?
He was ready.
You've seen him in practice.
Seen him in practice, the preparation, the guys he was practicing against. And all season, every playoff game, we had a different unsung hero, right?
How do you pull that off as a coach? Like to be able to have people just rotate in and have different unsung heroes surface themselves during the game?
Starts with buy-in. The kids have to know you care. And when they know you care, they'll run through a wall for you. But you have to show them that you care.
So how do you show them that you care in a situation where how do you show them that you care? How do you institutionalize that, or how do you package that idea and let everyone know that you care?
Being fair, being honest, right? Transparency is key.
Were you always that way as a coach, or did you have to learn that?
Yes, always. I think for me, I never wanted a coach to lie to me, right? And some did, some didn't. Yeah. So for me, when I got into coaching,
that was one of those essentials. It was non-negotiable.
Yes, I'm not going to lie to you. You might not like what I'm going to say to you, but at least you know I'm not lying to you. And kids appreciate that.
You feel like young men appreciate that.
They
that's
do.
What they want.
They do.
Because one would argue they're softer these days. All they want to be told is that they're great and get more likes and follows. That's not your experience.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
I think that's a parenting thing also, which is another conversation.
Well, let's get there. What do you mean by parenting?
Parents, I'm a parent.
Yeah.
I have a 14-year-old.
You have a junior.
I have a junior, Nick Jr. Shout out, son.
Nick Wallace Jr., 14-year-old. Plays in Pasadena?
He does not play in Pasadena, but he's born and raised from Pasadena.
Okay,
He plays for the district with Coach Frank Robinson.
Yep, he was on this last week. We're going to follow up with great thing he's building.
Yes.
His entire city.
Yes.
Basketball courts.
Yes.
Esports.
Yes.
Barbershop. Restaurants.
It's very unique what he has going on.
And you were so drawn to that, you wanted your son to play there.
Correct. He was there from the ground up. So now they're 15th in the nation.
So that's the very interesting thing, because if you're one of the first families, that's like Wild West frontier stuff, man. It's trust in the man.
Yes. And the system, and me being a coach, a lot of times I have to separate myself from the coach and be dad with the knowledge of coach. And for me, nowadays, a lot of kids are playing on multiple teams. They're doing multiple things.
Is that
totally
a good thing?
Fine, non-judgmental, right? But going back to the kids and being soft and the parents are now looking for something more, right?
The parents are looking for something more, meaning what? They're looking for structure and discipline, and
parents are looking for NIL deals. Parents are looking for rankings. Parents are looking for so many things that holds the coach to a standard that is not fair to that coach, right? So a lot of times the parents are more hands-on and more on the coach than the kid.
Because of the administration of that basketball situation.
The basketball
The
world
business
is,
of it all.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So where are we heading as a culture, as a basketball culture, as an American culture, with the NIL of it all, with the transfer portal of it all, with the I can shop for whatever team I want? Is that an empowering thing to families?
It can help you financially, right? Like so many people go through so many different things financially, right? And with inflation and what we're in right now, you can't blame a family that's able to monetize their child, right, to help them along the way. It's very expensive. And there's so many backdoor deals that go on that people have no idea about.
It's different than it was a generation ago when you came
Completely different, right? So what happens is now, I think it's great for the kids. But we also have to be able to teach the kids and the parents how not to be fooled.
Great for the kids because of the empowerment, the financial empowerment?
Yes. It's super awesome.
So you mentioned
you have
this.
to be educated on it also.
So how do you educate? Are we just at the nascent stages of this thing, so we don't know even how to, we don't even have our hands around it, so we don't even know, can't even educate our parents yet? Is that what it is?
It's all fairly new, right?
Yeah.
So the one thing we do know is basketball is turning into a business in middle school, right?
Say that again.
Basketball is turning into a business in middle school.
Therefore what?
Therefore, we have to start teaching parents in elementary almost how to navigate middle school, how to navigate high school, because ultimately the goal is everybody wants a Division I scholarship. Everybody wants to be a pro.
So is the purity of the game lost because of that?
Time will tell.
What do you think? Subject matter expert?
Time will tell.
Okay. You talked 2 minutes ago about the idea of backroom deals and people don't even know about that. What do you mean by that?
Everybody wants the next Jordan, Kobe, LeBron,
Therefore,
Kevin Durant. So if you have an opportunity to have hands-on a child at a younger age, 9 times out of 10 you can build a relationship with them long term, and hopefully when they're old enough and they are drafted, if they're good enough, that relationship is already instilled.
Is that what every program's looking for, like to your point, to develop that kind of long arc business relationship with a young man even when they're like 7, 8, 9 years old?
I couldn't speak on that.
So you talk about educating families so they understand how to navigate these waters that are fundamentally different than they've ever been before. How do you do that as a parent of a player that, by all accounts, is a pretty good ball player?
You try to deal with trusted people, right? Honest people, going back to transparency, right? Living in the moment and being realistic. Right now, I can speak for my son. He's not the tallest, he's not the fastest, but he's very skilled. So you want to make sure he's around basketball-minded people.
Is he better than you at his age than you were at his age?
10 times better.
Because of you?
Because of him. This God gave him a gift. And his circumstances are a lot different from mine.
In what ways?
You know, in every way possible. He has great parents. He's a great support system. And my son is just lucky number 7, as I call him. Born on February 7th. Right? So God gave him a gift. And I hope he sees that and flourishes throughout his journey.
He has his head on straight? He's focused?
Focused. Great kid.
He gets that from you or your mom, his mom, or both?
It's a mixture.
Okay.
I can't take it all, can't give it all to mom. It's a mixture.
Which one is it? Is it more nurture or nature? Is it more that he was born with it or that he has been the beneficiary of a great father, coach, family?
I think that's spot on.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Which is more, if you had to choose? 50-50, 50.1?
I'm going to go 50-50, right? Because it's a balance.
Yeah.
And as the years go by, you learn, right? There's no book on parenting,
yeah.
Right? So you learn as you go, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
So when your players and their families are coming to you, some of your resume
relationships,
okay,
great relationships,
they draw people to you. People want to come and work with
Correct.
you because of your successes and your straightforward approach.
Correct.
When you're talking to people and they're asking you, how do I get my kid a D1 scholarship, what do you tell them?
I mean, it's from talking to coaches.
Yeah.
I was not a Division I player, right? But I have great friends who were Division I players, and I have great relationships with Division I coaches, and going to coaching clinics and hearing what these coaches are saying and what they're looking for is educating them on what I'm hearing and what I know, right? And relying on some of my friends who have done it to say, hey, what do you see? What are you thinking? Let me know, and then I can translate that to the parents.
Do you find it challenging these days? Because the world of basketball, prep basketball, JUCO, I mean, it's changed profoundly.
Yes.
In 15 years, 20 years?
It's changing every year.
Will
Yes.
it look like at all in 15 years what it is today?
I don't think so. It's hard right now, right? We were just talking about the relationships when kids come into my high school, right? And it's big on transfers right now. The high school thing, transfer, right?
Basically, transfer portal in college, the same thing. It just shifted down to high school.
Right,
Yep.
but what they're also saying is they're not talking about is the prep schools and the charter schools, right?
Explain that. So for someone who doesn't know the distinction between the prep, the charters, and the public high schools.
It's a non-CIF, right, in Southern California. It's a non-CIF school where they're allowed to pretty much maximize the kid daily, right? These kids they're going to school, but they're also training for basketball, and there's no regulation for them compared to a regular high school coach.
Which is where you're coached.
Correct. Where we have a certain amount of hours that we can practice a week, right? We have a dead period, right? We can't associate with certain players if they play for you, AAU, prime example, me, being a West Coast Elite coach. If I have a great relationship with one of my players that plays with me, and he says, Coach Nick, I want to come to Arcadia High School, he can't play for me.
Why not?
Because it's against CIF rules.
Now, I understand that, but when you're talking about CIF rules, a very structured system, and then you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But if I'm at DNA Prep Academy,
I was getting there. You can do what?
And I'm coaching with West Coast Elite, and that kid says, Coach Nick, I want to play for you. It's, hey, let's go, come on.
So it seems like that's an unfair dynamic or inequitable dynamic minimally.
Correct.
Can that be, and should it be, solved by the state of California?
How? There's no governing body. See, with high schools like CIF, you're paying into CIF, and it's a governing body, right?
Yep.
With the charters and the preps,
But CIF, can't CIF adjust to be as competitive as the privates and the charters?
You would like CIF to do that.
Should they? In your mind, was that the right way to go, or is that no? We'll just let the different systems be different.
I honestly believe, speaking from a parent perspective, whose son is in the game.
Yep.
If a parent wants to drive from Victorville to downtown LA every single day and spend their gas money, their time on the freeway, and they feel like that's the best situation for that kid, that parent should be able to do that as many times as they want to, right?
Right now, can they do that?
No, well, you can, right? You can sit out 30 days, and then if you move to another school, you have to have a valid change of residency, right? So that whole family unit has to move, right?
Right.
And then let's say that situation doesn't work out and you end up at another school, right? You possibly can be ineligible, right? And people frown upon that, but people don't understand what a lot of these kids and these families are going through on a day-to-day. One situation and one circumstance can be different today than it was yesterday.
Is it all shifting of the American dream or onto the backs of families in a more active way? And what I mean by that is have we basically told families, listen, this 2.5 kids, car, garage, one income that's going to buy you a home and your children's college at a reasonable rate, and although that's gone, so you've got to figure out a way to cobble together your family's future in another way. This is what it is, so go. Is that where we are as a culture?
Could be.
It's a crazy thing.
Right, it's
Is that what's drawing people? Is that why so many people put their kids in sports, have such high aspirations of them achieving something, specifically a D1 scholarship, thus not having to go in the hole $250,000, $300,000? Or is it
Definitely,
more? Is it more aspirational? Do they want their kids to be successful and stars? And is it just that?
It's just opportunity, right? Like if kids love to play a sport, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you know that your child has an opportunity to play at a high level. It's just an opportunity. So you want to always put your child in a situation that, one, gives them that opportunity.
Okay.
And two, a trusted individual that's going to help them keep pushing towards that, right? And that's every step of the way, whether it's elementary, middle school, high school, and college, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's just situational, right?
When you put your son in district, incredible program. It's growing at the time. It was just starting out. You've watched it, and one would argue contributed to its growth. Yeah, in terms of like
that's fair. That's fair.
Has it been? Have there been any growing pains? Has it been an exciting thing? Like it's an interesting. You sit at the, and I guess what I'm getting to is this: you sit at the cross section of a very interesting thing. You're a parent. You're a coach. You're a coach of one system. You have a very interesting perspective. Where are we heading as a prep school culture? Where are we in 15 years from now? We talked about this earlier.
I think high schools will become irrelevant at some point. Parents are tired of being controlled, and parents want to do what they want to do for their child.
You mentioned the control, meaning the Victorville driving in,
Correct.
can't do it, have to transfer, sit out 30 days, might have to lose a year, all those things. It
Correct.
seems like such an antiquated system. It seems like such a system that is from the past, and it doesn't apply now, and the world is moving faster, and it hasn't caught up. So you think at some point that the families will want to say, we want our own empowerment, we're going to shop around for what's best for our kids.
Correct. Right? It's at a high school or college, a coach can get a better job and leave,
Yep.
right? But that kid can't follow that coach in high school.
That's
But
insane to think about.
That kid probably was tied to that coach in so many ways outside of basketball.
And maybe has been developing on and off the court a relationship with him, trust, where he knows he's going to tell me the truth 5, 10, 12 years before.
Correct.
But he's not allowed to follow him.
But I can't follow him. So now that coach has to entrust in the administration to hire a better coach. If that kid's a junior getting ready to be a senior,
Right.
now that kid now has to get adjusted to that new coach
Right.
and a new system.
Right.
When it might have been a lot easier for that kid to follow that coach when that coach just left for a better job, a higher paying job, maybe better for his family or whatnot.
And what's severed in that situation is the trust and the ability for that coach to maintain his or her conscientious, thoughtful investment in this young person. So that's gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
And so ostensibly, one could argue, well, the reason why we should separate this stuff is because it's gotten too commercialized, and so on and so forth. But what's actually happening in many situations is it's the exact antithesis of that. It's people who care about these, who have developed these relationships with these kids over a long period of time, and they can't help them anymore.
Can't help them anymore.
Man, we went deep, man. So where do we go? Where do we go from here? High schools are irrelevant. Is it finding a program where you're? What is it? Is it like more like a European soccer / football model where there's?
I think that's a great topic, right? And a lot of coaches will have a lot of different views on it.
Yeah.
At the district, they're trying to develop that European model a little bit, right? And the guys aren't playing as much. They're more so doing recovery and working on skill set stuff that helps them 5-10 years from now.
They're not just game after game after game.
Correct,
things, yeah.
right? So you're preserving the body and the legs. So it's very intriguing. Every coach might have a different view. For me, I've never approached a middle school game as it was end-all, be-all with my son.
What have you approached it as?
Every step, let's just keep getting better. What you do well, continuously do well, and what you aren't good at, let's keep working on it, right? Because a college coach realistically is not really worried about you until your sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have time, right? But you have time to keep developing. And then once we're going into your junior year and you're playing 16U at that point, hey, hopefully it's all together where when you're now showcasing that in front of the right people, they'll be able to see that you're fundamentally sound and you have a good IQ and you can make an open shot and you can make the right read, because it's all about fitting into a system, right? Like, kids are getting recruited to fit into a system. And sometimes it's not the more talented kids that are the ones getting the offers, because they can fit that system.
Yeah.
So it's different, and we'll see within the next 4 to 5 years if that model paid off for us.
Dichotomies and paradoxes abound. I know you have to get going. I look forward to, can we talk again down the line a little bit?
I would love to.
Straight shooter, philosopher, coach, father, thank you very much for joining us. This was a fantastic conversation.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, brother.